need to do.
All right, this is the real shit here.
Yeah.
So we're talking about how to figure out a way to mount this angle bracket, the black one there, through that, and I'm going to be generous and call it a frame rail to support the transmission.
That's a frame rail in the academic sense.
Right,
What's going
right,
on
right.
inside of there may or may not be a frame or a rail.
But yeah, so Ron's got an idea that I think is worth talking about.
My thought, if you think that's something that's weldable and you don't want to get crazy, and because you said on the opposite side of that rail you've got some big holes, and
There's it's probably close to an inch, and it lines up with the original Rampage transmission mount hole.
Gotcha.
With all kinds of rubber bushings and all kinds of crap
yeah.
to suspend it in there. But I could weld that up.
So you've got this. You want to hand me this plate, or does it get outable? Okay. So what if you cut yourself another square plate on the back of here, threw some big fat weld nuts on it, and then clearanced yourself a little spot there. Got everything where you wanted it.
Woo!
Tacked her in.
Woo! that does sound, yeah. Make another one with that bolt pattern, with the weld nuts in it. Cut it section it out of that rail, and then weld that piece into the rail, so it's inset.
So the weld is the last thing you do, so you know everything's located properly.
Right. That sounds like a pretty good idea, because I'm going to need provision to mount a different transmission in that I have no idea how it's going to mount.
So you make a
That's
certain one of these.
template, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So you've got.
And I actually know what those dimensions are too, because I ran it on the DRO on Bridgeport, where I drilled. I didn't just use a drill press. I clamped it in Bridgeport and poked all the holes. So that could become the standard. That's a good idea.
The new standard.
That's the way somebody that did things right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's somebody who didn't use the DRO, who just needed to match drill everything.
Yeah.
I match drill everything, got everything all slopped into place, and then welded it.
I think that's a good Saturday project.
Yeah, yes it is.
Take that and just
Ever so.
put some 3/8 nuts or whatever on the back and inset it.
What if do you have any more of this L?
Oh yeah.
So what if you just reverse the L, and then you've got a little plate, and it bucks it. Well, you could either do that, either come on the top or go on the bottom. You know, so you've got two.
Yeah.
You either saddle around. You know, you'd have to kind of relief cut it to fit that curve.
That's what my original plan was, to try to make. I was going to take two curved pieces and weld one to the underside there, and then have it kind of biscuit mounted between the two curves.
Oh, okay.
Bolt between the two curves, so it was. But then this bolt pattern was pretty easy to figure out. And then,
Yeah, this right here was phase 2 thinking already.
but
I had to get warmed up.
But I like that. That's not really too far fetched.
Yeah, cut that out of there.
I'll just take another
Weld that plate
piece.
in.
Another piece.
You know, that's how I mounted. I did a skid plate on my BMW, and it was the laziest job ever. That I bent my U-bar to buck up the skid plate right at the bend in front of the oil pan, and then I needed, that U-bar needed to locate itself on the frame rails. So I took the, I made little plates to weld on the U-bar, and then the plates with the weld nuts on them, and bolted everything together, and then, set it up into place and kind of drilled some holes to clearance the weld nuts, and then just around the whole thing.
That's what I was thinking about doing here, is making up that plate with the weld nuts on it, and then just clearance it out.
Yeah.
Clearance, and then weld the crap out of it.
Yeah. Let it cool, and then you can take it off.
Because it could live out here.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It doesn't have to sit flush. It can live out there with
Now,
space.
now you got me thinking that I need to do a Menendez special in my vehicle as well, because this is
That would be
the
an
problem with my car is that mount back here is real tight, and my motor has to move forward.
I
to
took that
clear
one off of this, which
Yeah.
is that little arm that sticks off.
that little cracked aluminum piece.
Yeah, it's in a bucket next to it's in
Well, yeah.
it's this piece, right?
Yes, exactly. And that piece,
You want that?
if you don't need it, I'll take a spare. So this thing,
I hope I never have to use that.
this thing will shear in any number of ways because it's, German aluminum beer cans or something. And, pick up, well, I mean, I haven't broken one yet, but I've come pretty
Originally, I was
close.
thinking that I might have been able to use that with like a urethane hockey puck style deal
Yeah.
underneath, but it wouldn't. I couldn't even physically get it to clear the.
So I started
Crossbow.
I started doing all this business, and then I realized that it's located here, and I can maybe go left or right a little bit, but I need to come forward by like an inch and a half to clear for the center drive shaft, like the power takeoff technically, to clear the steering rack because it's all the same. My subframe looks slightly different, but it's the same everything
Same
here.
layout.
And then, so I can do that with the front mount. I've already slotted the front mount to move forward and backward, and then the driver side mount, which is actually off the subframe, not off the rail over here. And yeah, I think. I'll just
So
have
your
some-
stuff is, and that's all the right combination of Volkswagen parts.
Yes, yeah.
But there's still something that's not laying out right.
Well, it's just I don't know if the Passat. Well, I don't know if I've bolted something in wrong or the Passat subframe was
Yeah.
a little bit more liberal with the steering rack mount, but something's just not jiving, and I can barely get a pinky in between the drive shaft and the steering rack, and I know that that's going to
Oh, yeah,
try and
it's gonna be-
clearance some things.
No, I hope I'll be happy with this setup.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a
that's
great
about the
idea.
stoutest way to mount that transmission to anything.
Right off of those 2 years.
Yeah, because these.
I actually had to drill those
I had
out.
these bolts. I had these bolts back out on me at a rallycross, and I had them in there.
Boom, boom, it's all banging around.
Yeah,
And these things, they were like, they were bigger than 3/8, but not quite 7/16.
Mhm.
So I
They're
drilled out
M12,
for 12
right?
Yeah, well, these are M12 bolts, but neither of those holes was clearance for M12.
really.
So, but they are now.
All right,
And
now
they actually were different size. I think this one was maybe like an M10, and this one, it just wasn't.
I think there's a level of convincing happening that we both feel better.
Yeah. I like.
So maybe you can come up to my place and help me with
we
the same situation.
Next field trip,
Yeah.
because you guys tore into this stuff tonight.
You got a lot of stuff taken apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does come apart.
Tearing into
Right.
it is a little bit easier than the reverse.
Yeah.
Man, that will be good powder coated.
That'll be great powder coated. So I'll
Yeah, even those A arms there.
Denko powder coating doesn't hurt Delaney.
Do they do blasting too?
I think they will for $1, but they might. I mean,
Oh.
many dollars.
Okay.
But the only piece I'm not sure will fit in our glass cabinet is
That'll fit in Kendall's
but,
if it really needs to be.
the arms and all the knick-knack stuff will fit in there for sure. And I'll feel good about throwing this thing away.
That's,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This was not even the Rabbit setup. This was the Omni setup, which is different slightly than the Rabbit.
That was an
So-
intern job there. Is what that was.
Yeah. And then I
That
did,
had
Make
some
that
cardboard aided design.
because then,
Oh.
the threaded rod, that was my innovation. That was a big improvement over the crap that
I
was there.
will
to
tell
begin
you,
with.
it's a different shift feel. It's not as, knock the rod shift, but it's, when you're in a gear.
Right.
And with the cable, you kind of gotta hope sometimes.
Really?
It took a little, getting her in the second, when you find, it takes a little thinking to find second when you're, because finding second on the street is different than I'm going for a run and I
Right.
really,
Yeah.
the adrenaline's pumping and you need to find it and you're like, just, and you have to just, the thing for me, and well, you probably have a little bit more room.
Yeah,
is
well, it's
you
not a
just-
drag race.
It's just, and it's only on the first and second is like clutch, just
Just be
breathe,
deliberate.
and then have it. But second to third, third to fourth, and fourth to third, you can just hammer. But for some reason, the first and second is just questionable.
Yeah, on this, if you watch my videos from Bonneville, you're running 3 miles. And there's
You got time.
that the race is not won or lost because of the
Your
speed
first
of the
or second
shift.
shift.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, you know, it's not either in rally because you know
I would
you're
hope
on
not.
gravel,
Yeah.
so
You probably don't spend a lot of time in first gear.
hopefully not.
Now, what has Kyle been shooting video with like a digital SLR?
It's his
I'm not trying to shoot.
it's his 7D.
Okay, because yeah, this is not as high end equivalent.
Well, you know his SLR that he uses is his lowest quality camera now.
Okay.
He's got that Osmo thing that's like ridiculous. It'll shoot 4K and it's all gyro. It's this like gyro stabilized thing that they put on the DJI, the new DJI, the fancy, really expensive
This
one.
is tech time with Ron.
Yeah, and Kyle spends some money on some freaking cameras, but yeah, it's all crazy gyro stabilized and has a fan in the back of it to cool it, and it's a trick.
I think my next move is actually going to be to buy one of those. Shoot, I already forgot the brand name.
Oh, the Rode.
Video, yeah,
The Rode. Yeah.
the Rode video mic, and just start shooting video with this.
They're really nice.
And because the audio on this is crap if you're more than a couple feet away from it.
What is that? What you're thinking of?
It's remember when we were out at Bonneville and the guys from Mike Delano and the other guy from I forget the
Magazine
name of his
shooters?
company, but they were shooting for Volkswagen of America.
Oh, really?
So VW of America had this Beetle out there. I still call them new Beetles.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was the hottest one that they were making. So it was 2014, and the thing they broke it. So they broke it like on one of the first couple passes. So these pro photographers, they had the drones and GoPro, and they had all kinds of GoPros, and they were shooting with some pretty high-end Canon
Mm-hmm.
DSLRs with the big Rode type
Yeah.
mics on. So they'd walk up to you and be talking like this, and it looks like for all the world like they're just shooting with
Yeah.
a SLR, but they're shooting this high quality video through it. And their deal that they were there to shoot for Volkswagen of America, they broke